Hey guys, today's video is going to be a book review of The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, which, oh boy, this is really good, but also, oh boy. The Poppy War is about a young woman who aces the exam to get into the academy of her choosing and gets into the best military school in the country to escape the really kind of shitty circumstances. She's a war orphan who's been abused by the people that took her in for her entire life, basically, and she just has a bit of a rough time of it, and then she goes to this school, and at the school she also faces prejudice, and it's not great, and she has a hard time because she comes from the lowest of the low, and she managed to get into the school with the highest of the high, and she's now a classmate of the people that their parents are running the country. But she discovers she has an aptitude for the near mythical art of shamanism, and that is quite a talent to have at this time. And also, it turns out the war is a-brewing, so she needs to be ready for that. Fucking hell, this book is brutal. It's so brutal. This book is on a scale of Game of Thrones, really. Fewer characters, but similar scope and brutality. So, Game of Thrones, you obviously are following mainly one family, but various other folk all around the place that are all dealing with a really kind of shitty world that they have been born into, and they are triumphing over because of that sort of thing. This is similar in that it follows a world with really shitty stuff going on in it, but it's got far fewer characters. We only really have, properly, the main character, Rin, as our viewpoint. Rin is a very difficult character. Her arc is very much a descent into a very dark anti-hero. Like, from our perspective, or at least my perspective, she makes all the wrong choices. But in the world of the book, it's way more complex to say whether it's actually the right or wrong thing to do, and she does all of these things, and she's a very sympathetic character despite all of them, at least until the end. So the tragedy of Alton Trengsin is horrible. This kid has, oh my god, there's so much going on with this kid, and just his existence is difficult, and he's a tricky character as well, just like Rin is herself, and just there's a huge complexity of situations in this book between, you know, Spearly, Tirza, and the Red Emperor being noteworthy there, and Mugen and the Empress of the Nikara, and more. Like, the nature of evil in people is just very, very explored complexly here. It's a very complex book with a lot of complex situations, and I do feel that this book was very fast-paced and hectic. And that's mostly a pretty good thing, but at the same time, it's also a bit awkward because, especially towards the end, I feel like it needed a little bit of a reminder of the early sense of scale of just trying to escape from her small amount of problems, or her, you know, relatively small in the scale of the end problems. But it needed it at the end, it needed to have a reminder of that scale at the end. But mind you, it's the first book in a series, so maybe it'll sort of follow up on that towards the end of the series more. The pacing of this book is kind of weird in places. There's definitely points where it's like, it goes and skims over a couple of years, and then you're kind of left bringing things back, and like, it's a bit weird on that front, but it does work pretty well in pretty effective ways as to just establishing this world in some ways. The world building in this book is really strong, and it's also really quite derivative of actual Chinese history, or at least in my knowledge. Not just that, but also mythology to do with that as well. But luckily, that's quite fresh for us Western fantasy readers. We've not had as much of this. We're getting more of it now because we've obviously got like Jade City and the Poppy War and like the Grace of Kings and a few of those other sort of stuff, but like nothing had been, there was not as much of this until recently. I am really looking forward to reading the rest of this series, but oh my god, it's such a heavy, brutal books series already, just from that first one. I'm not in a massive rush, but also I am looking forward to it, so I really enjoyed this book, as brutal and heavy as it was in a lot of places. It just, whew, I definitely want to know what you thought of it, so tell me down below in the comments. I'd love to know. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you remember to like and share it and subscribe to my channel. Click on the thumbnails over there to see other videos by me, click on the link in the description down below to join my Discord, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!